On the eternality of the spirit. By the simple light of reason it appears to be hard to demonstrate the everlasting status of the spirit. The contentions for it are usually got neither from supernatural subjects, or moral or physical. In any case, in actuality 'tis the gospel and the gospel alone, that has uncovered life and everlasting status. Mystical points guess that the spirit is insignificant, and that 'tis unimaginable. 24. For remembered to have a place with a material substance. 1. Yet transcendentalism instruct us that the thought of substance is completely befuddled and blemished, and that we have no other thought of any substance, than as a total of specific characteristics, inhering in an obscure something. Matter, consequently, and soul, are at base similarly obscure, and we can't figure out what characteristics inhere in the one or in the other. 2. They similarly instruct us that nothing can be concluded deduced concerning any reason or impact, and that experience being the main wellspring of our decisions of this nature, we can't be aware from whatever other rule, whether matter, by its design or course of action, may not be the reason for thought. Unique explanations can't choose any inquiry of reality or presence, yet conceding a profound substance to be scattered all through the universe, similar to the ethereal fire of the Stoics, and to be the main innate subject of thought, we have motivation to close. 25. From relationship that nature utilizes it after the way she does the other substance, matter. She utilizes it as a sort of glue or dirt, changes it into different structures and presences, disintegrates after a period every adjustment, and from its substance raises another structure. As a similar material substance may progressively make the bodies out of all creatures, a similar otherworldly substance might create their psyches, their cognizance, or that arrangement of thought which they framed during life, might be persistently broken up by death. What's more, nothing intrigues them in the new adjustment. The best assertors of the mortality of the spirit, never prevented the everlasting status from getting its substance. What's more, that unimportant substance, as well as a material, may lose its memory or cognizance, shows up to some extent as a matter of fact, assuming the spirit be insignificant, thinking from the familiar course of nature, and without assuming any new mediation of the preeminent reason, which should continuously to be avoided from theory. 26. What is ethical must likewise be ingenerable. The spirit hence if interminable, existed before our introduction to the world, and assuming that the previous presence no ways concerned us, neither will the last option, creatures without a doubt feel, think, love, disdain, will, and even explanation, though in a more blemished way than men, are their spirits likewise irrelevant and everlasting. 2. Moral. Allow us now to think about the ethical contentions, mostly those got from the equity of God, which should be farther keen on the farther discipline of the horrible and award of the temperate, yet these contentions are grounded on the notion that God has ascribes past what he has applied in this universe, with which alone we are familiar. Whence do we surmise the presence of these properties? 'Tis extremely okay for us to attest, that anything we know the God to have really finished, is ideal. However 'tis exceptionally risky to insist, that he should continuously do, 27, what to us appears to be ideal. In what number of examples could this thinking bomb us concerning the current world? However in the event that any reason for nature be clear, we might certify, that the entire extension and goal of man's creation, such a long ways as we can decide by regular explanation, is restricted to the current life. With how feeble a worry from the first inborn construction of the psyche and interests, does he at any point look farther? What correlation either for dauntlessness or adequacy, in between so drifting a thought, and the most dicey influence of any self-evident reality that happens in like manner life? There emerged to be sure in a personalities an unapproachable dread concerning futurity, however these would rapidly disappear were they not misleadingly encouraged by statute and training. Also, the individuals who cultivate them, what is their rationale? Just to acquire a vocation, and to obtain influence and wealth in this world. Their actual energy and industry subsequently is a contention against them. 28. What savagery, what evil doing, what unfairness in nature, to bind all our anxiety, as well as the entirety of our insight, to the current life, on the off chance that there be another scene actually holding up as of boundlessly more noteworthy result. Should this brutal double-dealing to be credited to a gainful and spouse being? See with what accurate extent the undertaking to be performed and the performing powers are changed all through all nature. Assuming the explanation of man gives him extraordinary prevalence above different creatures, his necessities are proportionably duplicated upon him, his entire time, his entire limit, action, boldness, and enthusiasm, track down adequate work in fencing against the tragedies of his current condition, and regularly, nay quite often are excessively slim for the business allotted them. A couple of shoes maybe was never yet fashioned to the most significant level of flawlessness which that item is fit for achieving. However, it is important, exceptionally valuable, that there ought to be a few legislators and moralists. 29, even a few geometers, writers, and rationalists among humanity. The powers of men are not any more better than their needs, thought about simply in this life, than those of foxes and rabbits are, contrasted with their needs and to their time of presence. The induction from equality of reason is thusly self-evident, O/N / the hypothesis of the spirit's mortality, the mediocrity of ladies' ability is effectively represented. Their home-grown life requires no higher resources, both of brain or body. This situation disappears and turns out to be totally unimportant. On the strict hypothesis, the one sex has an equivalent undertaking to precede as the other, their powers of reason and goal should likewise to have been equivalent, and the two of them boundlessly more prominent than as of now. As each impact suggests a reason, and that another, till we arrive at the principal reason for all, which is the God, all that happens is appointed by him, and nothing can be the object of his discipline or retaliation. By what rule are disciplines, 30, and rewards appropriated? What is the heavenly norm of legitimacy and negative mark? Will we guess that human opinions have place in the God? How intense that theory! We have no origination of some other opinions, as indicated by human opinions, sense, boldness, great habits, industry, reasonability, virtuoso, and are fundamental pieces of individual benefits. Will we thusly erect an Elysium for writers and legends like that of the old folklore? Why keep all awards to one types of ideals? Discipline, with practically no legitimate end or design, is conflicting with our thoughts of goodness and equity, and no closure can be served by it after the entire scene is shut. Discipline, as indicated by our origination, ought to bear an extent to the offense. Why then everlasting discipline for the transitory offenses of so fragile an animal as man? Might anyone at any point endorse Alexander's fury, who planned to eradicate an entire country since they had held on to his number one pony Bucephalus? 5:31, Heaven and damnation. Guess two unmistakable types of men, the great and the terrible, however the best piece of humanity float in between bad habit and goodness. Were one to go round the world with an aim of giving a decent dinner to the honourable, and a sound drubbing to the fiendish, he would habitually be humiliated in his decision, and would find that the benefits and the bad marks of most people barely sum to the worth of all things considered. To guess proportions of approval and fault not quite the same as the human puzzles everything. Whence do we discover that there is such an incredible concept as moral qualifications? However, from our own feelings. Which man who has not met with individual incitement, or what agreeable man who has, could cause for violations, from the feeling of fault alone, even the normal, lawful, unimportant disciplines? Furthermore, does anything steel the bosom of judges and juries against the feelings of humankind, however reflection on need and public interest? 32. By the Roman regulation, the individuals who had been at fault for parricide and admitted their wrongdoing, were placed into a sack alone with a primate, a canine, and a snake, and tossed into the waterway. Only demise was the discipline of those who denied their culpability, but completely demonstrated. A lawbreaker was attempted before Augustus, and denounced after a full conviction, yet the empathetic sovereign, when he put the last interrogatory, gave it such a go as to lead the blackguard into a refusal of his responsibility. You unquestionably, said the ruler, didn't kill your father. 6. This lenity suits our regular thoughts of right even towards the best, everything being equal, and despite the fact that it forestalls so negligible a sufferance. Nay, even the most bigoted cleric would normally without reflection endorse it, gave the wrongdoing was not sin or unfaithfulness, for as these violations hurt himself to his greatest advantage and benefits, maybe he may not be through and through so, 33, liberal to them. The central wellspring of moral thoughts is the reflection on the interest of human culture. Should these interests, so short, so negligible, to be watched by disciplines everlasting and endless? The condemnation of one man is a vastly more prominent fiendish in the universe, than the disruption of 1,000 large number of realms. Nature has delivered human earliest stages curiously delicate and mortal, in a manner of speaking deliberately to disprove the idea of a trial express, the portion of humanity kick the bucket before they are judicious animals. 3. Physical. The actual contentions from the similarity of nature are solid for the mortality of the spirit, and are actually the main philosophical contentions which should be conceded with respect to this inquiry, or to be sure any inquiry of reality, where any two articles are so firmly associated that all modifications which we have